course, we know that Dumbledore is always working tirelessly against the dark arts and gathering as much information about Voldemort as he can, trying desperately to prevent him from returning to power or else just destroy him completely. And of all wizards, you'd probably think, yes, Dumbledore is the man for the job. He is widely accepted as the greatest wizard of the age. He has already defeated the other most notorious wizard ever, Gellert Grindelwald, and is also the only wizard Voldemort ever feared, or so they say. And yet, after Voldemort attacks Harry and loses his powers and goes into hiding, Dumbledore does nothing to hunt him down and finish him off for good, even though he is certain Voldemort will return. He has 13 years to act on this and maybe finish Voldemort off for good, but does nothing. Why?
What did we just say then?
You know, there has been lots of rumors, lots of speculation, and so we just thought we would lay it all out straight.
Is that what you think? You think?
And so you could hear it from the horse's mouth. Drum roll, please, sir. I'm going another year! Woohoo!
Looks like my season has extended and I still have a job for 2023. Cool.
Well, we actually know why, and it's because of the prophecy about Harry Potter. The prophecy was made by Sybil Trelawney to Albus Dumbledore and is the reason Voldemort went after Harry in the first place. It says, "The one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches. The Dark Lord will mark him as his equal, and one must kill the other, for neither can live while the other survives." And while that obviously means a lot for Harry, the curious thing is what it might mean personally to Dumbledore. Because until that point, until he heard the prophecy, he probably considered it his personal responsibility to be the one to finish off Voldemort. But what this prophecy means to Dumbledore is that it won't be him who does it. It means it has to be Harry who does it. Harry is the only one who can do it. Or at least he knows it's Harry after Voldemort goes after him, because before that, I guess it could have also been Neville. But with that in mind, knowing that Dumbledore's ultimate goal is to defeat Voldemort, and knowing Dumbledore knows that only Harry can finish off Voldemort, Dumbledore finds himself in a very unique position. How is he going to handle Harry? Because since he's the only one who knows this information, does that not then also make him responsible for preparing Harry? Like, what a weird position to be in. What should he do? Should he meddle and send Harry down the path he thinks is best suited for defeating Voldemort? Or would meddling send Harry off the path fate has already set for him? Because here's the thing. Harry's victory is not guaranteed. He can still lose. He's just also the only one with any chance at all of winning. So if you're Dumbledore, what do? Well, obviously we know he does meddle, but the question is how much? And the answer is the subject of this entire theory, because the answer is a lot, like more than you can possibly imagine. Every mystery Harry thinks he's solving is being presented to him by Dumbledore. Every significant moment of Harry's life is being carefully constructed behind the scenes by Dumbledore.
Toomey, the first person to be an Olympian and a Games athlete in the same year. She's struggling to finish it up.
What's going on with Harry's broomstick?
Cara Webb right behind her. Can Tia still hang on? Cara legs are out. Oh my goodness, what a finish.
He's got the snitch.
Gryffindor wins.
19 hundredths of a second.
The 2017 Levi CrossFit Games champion is Tia Toomey!
As part of Dumbledore's big plan. Let's do this.
Yo, how did you like all that stuff? basically saying that it's not just Tia who's doing all of this stuff, it's Dumbledore, Shane Doldor. CrossFit is Voldemort, Tia, Toomey, Shane Orr are doing everything they can to try to take it down, pull it for everything that it's worth, and they're doing so till the last possible second in which they need to tell everybody that Tia is pregnant. Of course, that happened this past weekend. And before you get all freaking upset about everything that I'm going to say, let you know that, like everybody, I saw it right away. And like everybody, I wanted to go make a video about it as soon as I can because I want to get as many views as possible, right? That's the entire goal of this channel. Get as many views, to get as many people in as possible so that they can hear the things that I want to say about the topics that you all want to hear about anyway. What I did is I sat on it because unlike the people that I really saw put out videos immediately, I am a guy sitting in a garage in Chicago and I don't have the perspective that maybe a female, or don't want to speak as if I'm just some old news outlet. I want to give my opinion on the thing. But the only way in which I can do so, being a male, is by using kind of the perspectives of other people, or maybe what I have viewed as an outsider looking in on these similar situations. And that is females who are going through a pregnancy. I can't just say she was pregnant at the CrossFit Games. How dare you make those sort of accusations? Because number one, I don't think she was pregnant at the CrossFit Games.
I either think she's like sick or pregnant. That look I recognized in you when you started training like for semifinals and you were doing these really hard endurance pieces and you were just like, uh-oh, I don't got it right now, you know? And it was like, that look looks familiar, so I would not be shocked. I don't want to put anything out there that's not true, but we're just trying to speculate. Could be that, could be she's sick, could be she's injured.
August 3rd through the 7th are when the 2022 CrossFit Games were going on. There's a picture of her throwing down the champagne in a shoe on the podium. I know it's a cultural thing, they do it in Australia, but I don't really think that anybody would, one, put themselves through the gauntlet that is the CrossFit Games weekend, which is known to be one of the hardest beatdowns on your body. And that's just, in my opinion, not something that somebody would do knowing that they are expecting, whether it be your first week or second week or whatever. I could be wrong about that. That's an opinion of mine. And people were saying that she looked a little odd, and you know what? She did. But people have bad days, and that doesn't mean they're pregnant. It could have meant she's pregnant. Maybe it was her first day, maybe it was her second day. And people, from what I've seen, have very different experiences at every certain point in time in every single pregnancy. It's one of the coolest things about people is how they all react differently to different situations. I think on Shane's post in relation to all of this, it said that they're expecting in May. If you type in August 7th into a pregnancy calculator, it'll spit out the date April 30th. August 7th to April 30th. It's like, okay, maybe April 30th is very oddly close to May, and maybe they knew that people like me would try to put the math together and figure this sort of stuff out. At the end of the day, we're not gonna know.
It doesn't matter!
But I'm gonna go ahead and bet that it's kind of like New Year's Eve. It's like, when are all the babies coming out? There's a date, and I think it's something like my birthday, October or maybe end of September. There's a date where there's a really hot day for a bunch of babies to come out, and it's because conception occurs on New Year's Eve. It's just one of the way one of those things work. And maybe there's a New Year's Eve in the CrossFit world, and it's the day in which you win the CrossFit Games. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. People were trying to say that maybe the entire confusion with Deshaun Woodland announcing that it was her final thing had something to do with the fact that she was pregnant, and she knew and they knew and everyone knew, but I don't think she knew because I don't think she would have gone through all that stuff with the alcohol, and you already said all that. The Sean thing is interesting because it did start a tirade of weird instances with Tia Toomey, and I've pointed that out a lot recently, which is, look at her profile. It's like just a picture of her doing something, and then it's her freaking sponsors. Oh, a picture of her and her family, cool, sponsor. Oh, okay, it's got the picture of Proven Shane, and sponsor. It's like, I get it. Everyone's got to post their sponsors, but it wasn't custom by any means on Tia's profile for a long time. There's people out there who do that sort of stuff, but it's almost because they don't have anything to post about and they have to get all of their sponsored posts out. Turns out she wasn't doing very much because she couldn't do very much. But let's go to September, the month after the CrossFit Games. On the 7th, she states on her YouTube channel that she's going to be going to the Down Under CrossFit Championship in Australia. On the 22nd on Channel 5.
But the plan is to defend it, so you're going for 7 straight.
Yeah, that's the plan,
Some sort of news outlet, she says that she is going to be going for her 7th consecutive CrossFit Games title. On the 28th, she says that she's unable to decline her Rogue Invitational invite. On her YouTube channel, there's a thumbnail that says, I can't decline, I'm going to Rogue or something like that. And also on the 28th, she puts up an Instagram post saying that she's getting ready for the Down Under Championship. For the entire month of September, it's just kind of this build up to the impending season, the Down Under Championship, possibly even to Rogue, although that was kind of really a loose. In October, there's another article from Women's Health where it says that she is planning to compete in 2023. On October 20th on her own channel, very similar to her most recent video where her and Shane are talking about the pregnancy, it's her and Shane, but they're talking about the 2023 season. It's like, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this, and fireworks! We're going to go and win the CrossFit Games in 2023. Shane's like, I still have a job as Dumbledore. November 5th, they're at the Noble Film Festival, which of course, if you watch the thing I put out the other day with Brooke Wells' channel, you'll see that they were working out at that point in time. She puts out the video where at the 13th, they're leaving for Australia. And then shortly after, there's that story that she puts up where things went a little differently than expected. And I think there's also an Instagram post saying that things went a little differently. She's doing meet and greets, not competing on the team at Australia. And this is where things started to get a little bit rough. It's like, why was this happening? Why was that happening? And what is this entire Shane and Dumbledore thing all about? I'm not the biggest Harry Potter guy, but I've seen all the movies and I've read all the books. And actually, when Harry Potter was coming out, I stayed at freaking Barnes & Noble till midnight, got the book upon release, and tried to beat all my friends to see who could read it the fastest. So that's about how big of a Harry Potter buff I am. What you'll learn from Harry Potter is that Dumbledore is the guy who's like really turning all the wheels. He knows how everything's going to turn out. He knows that Harry Potter is the boy who lived, the one who is supposed to be the one to take down Voldemort, he who shall not be named. And at this point, I said CrossFit is Voldemort, but it's really every other female in the field is Voldemort. And Harry Potter is going to take them all down, but it wasn't a given that Harry Potter was going to take them down. There had to be a little bit of intervention. That intervention was Dumbledore. It's like, hey, go here, do this, do that, do this. Oh, don't fall off your broom. I'm going to have Snape be the one to...
If Snape's cloak hadn't caught fire and broken my eye contact, I would have succeeded.
Put the counter freaking curse on Professor Quirrell behind you, who actually isn't Professor Quirrell. If you take his head off, it's Lord Voldemort. Voldemort's trying to kill you. I put Snape in position to protect you, and Dumbledore is the one who is keeping Tia Toomey on the horse year after year after year, taking down the entire field that is the CrossFit Games female field. He's turning all the knobs, and he owns a company that is proven. Proven is the company that will support likely much longer after Tia Toomey's career is over. And the thing that people are trying to say, and maybe there's a little bit to it, you're gonna go compete in Australia and then turn it down at the last second. Maybe you gotta check. Proven was a big tie together with it had to do with the Down Under Championship. If Tia was never going to compete there, do you really fulfill the requirements of the company Proven to get people to go to that event? I don't really know the ins and outs of that, but that's what people were saying. And I said at the beginning of this video that I am a male who doesn't have any perspective on anything, but what I do know is what I have seen through people who have gone through pregnancies in CrossFit, maybe even just pregnancies in general. Everybody's different. When it comes to August, I don't think that she was pregnant at the CrossFit Games. Can I say put a gun to my head she wasn't pregnant? It's like, no. But if it was like I'm standing there with my legs spread and I'm like, all right, kick me in the balls as hard as you can. If I'm wrong, I'll let you do that. If it comes out that she was indeed pregnant at the CrossFit Games, it's like swing away.
Swing away, Meryl. Meryl. Swing away.
And I'll take that. That's about how sure I am about that. And I don't like getting kicked in the balls. And then as far as every other date and time that leads up to the CrossFit Games where there needs to be a decision about will she be competing, will she be the one who goes to the Down Under Championship, competes on a team and really drives the Proven market that is her husband's company and her company really. The answer to that question is you don't know what's going to happen with a pregnancy. There are dates and time where it's a little bit more comfortable to say that I am indeed pregnant. Here I am, Tia Toomey. This is from what I know, common knowledge. You don't come out and say it right away. You definitely wouldn't announce it at the CrossFit Games. I'm not competing. Why? Why isn't Tia competing? Back injury? What's going on? You don't say. You don't say too early. And the reason you don't say too early is because pregnancies can go the wrong way. I know that's a very delicate situation with a person who has a lot of eyes on her. I'm making a video right now where there's going to be eyes on her in relation to the topic. But when you have things to do, obligations to meet, and possible CrossFit Games to win in the next year, I would say that you turn to Dumbledore and you say, hey man, I'm supposed to be the boy who lived and I'm supposed to be the one to go and take down this guy. This guy that's one of the most powerful wizards in the world. What do I do? And at that point, it's just something that, from what I understand, you put your heads together and you make a decision as a family. It's not exactly how I felt when I first wanted to make this video. I wanted to say, look, we knew all along. They knew all along. They were a freaking person screwing that person over there, and they were screwing that person over there. And I'm happy that I waited a little bit. Because in hindsight, it's her own business. I've said some stuff about it, sure. What's going on in her Instagram profile? Looks a little different. You look to the NFL and you got Tom Brady, whose divorce is just about as public as it can be. Is that why he sucks this year on the Buccaneers? It's like, maybe. Tia's in a position where there should and will be speculation into every single situation. One of those being, was she pregnant at the games? Another one of those being, it's like, was she really just trying to screw over all these people? People bought tickets to the Down Under Championship. But in all reality, I think that it's just the nature of people. Like, you want to tell people about exciting things like having a possible child, but you don't want to tell them too early. And as far as people who say that she looks like way too big for a certain point in time, I got a friend in the space. I've competed with her, and she is currently pregnant. I believe she's 15 or 16 weeks. Her name is Haley Hunter, and I think that her due date, actually, let's look it up, May of 2023. Somebody else who's got a child due in May of 2023 is Mariah Moore, who said that her baby will be about a week off of the anticipated due date of Tia and Shane. I'm not going to put the timelines together on that, but it's unlikely that Tia had been pregnant at the CrossFit Games. But what I do know is that from what I've seen, and everyone will know very, very closely from watching Andy Thorsauter come back, that babies are one hell of a performance-enhancing drug. And Riller, out.